Hey everybody, welcome to the Movie Guide. I am Brendan Dando of the Four Finger Discount Network, joined right now by Guyh Davis.
Well, it's cooking, Dando.
And of course, the Leonard Maltin. How are you, sir?
I am fine, thank you for asking.
Now, it is Oscar season, Mr. Davis, and we've particularly...
Is it Oscar season already?
Already? It is indeed, yes. Can you believe it? Where does the time go, Leonard, as we always say?
Oh, where does the time go? Because it goes on for days and weeks and months. And meanwhile, leaving room, this year it's later than ever because of the Olympics, the Winter Olympic Games. So it's not till the Ides of March 15th. So that means that they've left openings for young usurpers to come along and give another round of awards, which requires the actors in particular and filmmakers to show up, have a new outfit to wear, have something new to add to their speech, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what we call first world issues, first world problems. You know, this is not serious stuff at all. But if you live here in LA, it starts to get a little tiresome, let's say.
I imagine so, but there is one young man who is embracing the awards season challenge with
there sure
absolute
is. Yes.
relish.
Yes, he is.
He is going for gold, one might say.
Gosh.
Yeah, we are talking about Timothée Chalamet, the star of Josh Safdie's movie Marty Supreme. The Oscars are coming up on March 15. Beware the Ides of March, Dando.
Also, my wedding anniversary.
Oh.
We're all celebrating anniversaries. Ours was last week. Guy's was the week before. We're all loved up.
Oh.
Yes.
The Oscars is definitely taking a backseat to love and romance. But
shout out to Alice, by the way. Congratulations.
Yeah, shout out to Alice.
Thank you.
With Leonard for
Thank you.
goodness knows how long. Yeah, coming up on March the 15th, Sinners has a record-breaking number of nominations. One battle after another is being sort of touted as a frontrunner to take home a lot of the big awards. But Marty Supreme is sitting pretty. It's got 9 nominations. And Timothée Chalamet, he's sort of being posited as Leonardo DiCaprio's only real competition for the Best Actor prize. And Chalamet has really been going for it. He's received awards, he's been nominated, but he is just on an absolute charm offensive.
Yes. Well, it's an extreme movie. It's a movie of absolute extreme emotions, extreme plot twists and turns, extreme actions by its protagonist. Josh Safdie, who with his brother has done this kind of thing before. If you've seen Uncut Gems, that's their best known film.
Yeah.
The one with Adam Sandler in an uncharacteristic role. Very good, though. Here again, if you were charting this on a graph, I don't know how you would keep it within any kind of boundary lines, because it veers from here to there, from here to there, like the ball on a pinball machine. Sometimes you feel like you are that pinball because it whips you back and forth with such reckless abandon. And yet, of course, it's all under control. It's all completely under control.
You would be forgiven for thinking that Josh Safdie wasn't colouring inside the lines here, that he's being very, very chaotic. But no, everything is under control. He's got an eye on just about everything. One of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this movie was it's sort of a piece with what we discussed last week, the movie we discussed on the last Movie Guide, Steven Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can. We're both talking about young men on the make in mid-20th century America, seeking fortune and fame and recognition by means fair or foul, usually foul. Tonally, these movies couldn't be more different, but they feel like they've got a similar kind of vibe to them, to use the modern parlance. But watching this last weekend, I just felt invigorated. I felt energized. It felt like, movies are actually in a pretty good place. There are good filmmakers out there making great stuff.
It's absolutely fresh.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a fresh look at an unusual, unique character.
Yeah.
Based on, it's inspired by a real life ping pong champion. And I don't know how close it hews to the real guy's personality or his career. But the fellow that Chalamet plays here is a guy who, if you encountered in real life, you might walk 4 blocks the other direction to avoid seeing him again.
Or you might walk 4 blocks to go over and punch him in the face.
Yes, that's that too.
Marty's a shocking buck. I was watching this with my girlfriend Louise, and we were just saying, this guy's terrible. Why can't we stop watching him?
Yeah, exactly. He's utterly unpredictable indomitably self-possessed and in no danger of betraying anything lacked in total confidence in himself.
That's right.
He has the utmost faith in his destiny.
Yeah.
And his destiny is to be a winner. His destiny is to lose the shackles of his conventional upbringing in New York City and become an international player.
Yeah.
With a capital P.
A bit of a breakdown of what Marty Supreme is about. Marty Mauser, played by Chalamet, is this young working-class man in post-World War II New York City. I believe it's set in 1952. He's got a gift for table tennis and an unfailing confidence in its ability to make him rich, famous and respected. But Marty's bravado, it repels as many people as it attracts, and his willingness to screw over anyone and everyone in pursuit of his goals earns him some dangerous enemies and places him in perilous situations. He's also about to become a father, even if he spends the totality of the story denying that. I think there's a long and proud, I won't just say American tradition, but there's a tradition of young, traditionally male strivers trying to work their way up the ladder, any ladder, social ladder, corporate ladder, what have you, doing so by any means necessary. And for some reason, we're often really drawn to these stories. I don't know if it's because these people are doing things that we would maybe want to do, but either have enough shame or too much discretion to actually do ourselves, but we like living vicariously through them. I'm not sure, but Marty Supreme is a really great version of that, a really great incarnation of that.
Times 10.
Yeah.
Whatever you just said, times 10. Because he is so outlandish, so audacious. That's a good word.
Audacious is perfect.
And you think that he can't possibly get away with this. He can't possibly survive this latest offensive that he has launched. He can't possibly maintain a relationship with the person he has just screwed. He can't possibly win the tournament where he's got so many odds against him, so much going against him. And yet, repeatedly, he triumphs. He prevails. And that's the fascination of the movie.
It really is. Look, I don't think I'm the first person to say this, but I think it's great that, Chalamet has been a star and regarded as the next sort of big leading man for a little while now. He's had the lead in the Dune movies. These are big movies. He was, fantastic in Call Me By Your Name. He's been Oscar nominated and all that stuff. This strikes me as his first real leading man performance. And it's incredible that it's as this wiry, weaselly little con man who's got bad skin and a seedy mustache and a huge ego and an absolute disregard for anyone and everyone around him. And you can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the sign of a terrific actor. One thing I wrote about the movie is it's a real Frankenstein's monster of a movie, but in a great way. It's set in the 50s. It's got a soundtrack from the 80s. It's got scrappy indie film energy of the 90s. And it's got the hottest young male actor of the 2020s giving a performance reminiscent of the best male actors of the 1970s. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's got everything in it. And because of that, you'd almost be inclined to go, oh, well, it's just Safdie throwing everything at the wall. It's all substance and no style. It's all sizzle and no steak.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of steak here. There's a lot of meat on the bone. There's a lot of ideas and themes.
A lot going on.
Yeah. I was just so continually impressed and amazed and thrilled and pleased that, there was so much to unpack in this movie.
Exactly. And the unpacking is the reward for investing in the movie.
Yeah.
If you invest in this movie, as you did and I did, it pays you back repeatedly. The casting is quite wonderful. Gwyneth Paltrow, best part she's had in a long, long time. The smaller part for Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
As the mother. A real casting coup, taking Kevin O'Leary, who is known as Mr. Wonderful to a legion of viewers of the TV show Shark Tank. But he's never acted before. But he acts here, and he's damn good. And it's a coup.
I was watching his performance going, I know that Kevin Spacey is wherever he's living right now, watching Marty Supreme and just dying inside, because this would have been the ideal Kevin Spacey comeback role if you want Kevin Spacey to come back. And they're they almost look a little bit alike as well, but O'Leary is so great in this. I'm not a Shark Tank guy. I only knew a little bit about O'Leary prior to watching this, but he's remarkable. And apparently some of the lines of dialogue in this that he gives that are so memorable are stuff that's off the cuff from him. It's like, And I think it speaks volumes about Safdie and about his eye for casting and his desire to fill the frame with such interesting faces and personalities.
Mm-hmm.
He's reminiscent, to me at least, of, say, like Tarantino or Paul Thomas Anderson. It's like, don't just cast stars and don't just cast cookie-cutter performers or whatever. You're going to bring so much more to the table if you cast people from everywhere and from all walks of life. I mean, who's in this? You've got hip-hop legend Tyler, the Creator. You've got playwright David Mamet. You've got magician Penn Jillette, and probably my favorite casting decision outside of Chalamet. You've got the great indie filmmaker Abel Ferrara.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time and a real personality unto himself. Yeah. And he's playing this very dangerous gangster. And if you know anything about Abel Ferrara's life, you realize this is kind of casting the type, but also just apparently Ferrara worked on one of the Safdie brothers' short films. And this is when Ferrara, by his own admission, was pretty sort of deep in the addiction pocket. And he was like, pinching money out of cash registers and stuff like that. Ferrara's now cleaned up his act, but he's still as powerful and potent a presence as he ever was. Yeah, this is, anywhere you look in this movie, you'll see an interesting face or an interesting personality, and it just adds to the overall mosaic.
I want to add a shout out to the production designer, Jack Fisk.
Legend.
Yes, legend is true. It's not hyperbole to say he's a legend, and not just because he's married to Sissy Spacek.
Although that helps.
Doesn't hurt. He was David Lynch's best friend and a frequent colleague. But that shoe store in which the opening scene takes place, I don't know how he did that. I don't know how he did that. And then when Chalamet runs out of the store onto the streets of New York City, well, I'm just old enough to remember New York in the 50s. I was born in 1950, and I have very clear memories of growing up in that city, which is so different from today's New York City. I'm amazed. I shouldn't be. I should know that these guys like Jack Fisk are magicians, and they can do sleight of hand cinematically, and that's just what they do here.
Well, I mean, I've heard some great interviews with Fisk and with Safdie, and they're talking about their willingness to go really deep with this. I mean, this is not just a surface-level recreation of this time and place. If they're shooting on the street in New York, they're going 4 blocks back and they are dating everything they can, even if it's not seen on camera, just to create this atmosphere. Or, they're recreating a 1950s pool hall that's got ping pong tables in it. Safdie will get Fisk to decorate it all the way back, even if only a quarter of that is going to be seen on screen. You need to have that verisimilitude. And you get one of the best in the world like Jack Fisk to do it. Listening to interviews with Safdie, he just sounds like a really interesting person, first of all, but just the best kind of creator. Someone who's really curious, just really curious about. You'll hear a tiny bit of a story and he'll want to know more about it, and he'll just take that and expand it and shape it into something new and brilliant. There's so much sort of stuff that didn't make it into Marty Supreme that all ended up as backstory that he would share with the actors or share with his collaborators. And it gave them a greater insight. But
which enables them to give a deeper, richer performance.
That's right, yeah. It's interesting that this is his first film working without his brother Benny. They made Uncut Gems together. They made Good Time together, which is sort of I won't say a breakout role for Robert Pattinson, but it was certainly to me that indicated that Pattinson's got a little more in the toolkit than we may have expected. By the way, uncredited cameo by Robert Pattinson in this. He's the voice of the table tennis announcer during the London Table Tennis Championship. Good that they're working together again. But yeah, Josh just seems like, a really, really interesting guy. Apparently he was given a copy of the real-life Marty Supreme. His name was Marty Reisman. Yeah, as you mentioned, his autobiography. I think it was called The Money Player, which was about his career as a table tennis player and a hustler. And just sort of worked up a bit of a fictionalized original, is what he called it, based on that. So yeah, not necessarily the true story of Marty Supreme, but as we always say, print a legend instead.
Don't get your history from the movies.
No. But as I always say about biopics, if something about this interested you, whether you're watching Marty Supreme or Catch Me If You Can or A Beautiful Mind or Walk the Line about Johnny Cash or whatever, this is your first step. You've got a whole lot more journeying to do.
Yeah.
Read as much as you can. If you're interested, learn as much more as you can. But, Safdie strikes me as that kind of guy. Yeah, just surrounding himself with terrific people, but he just seems like a director in the best sense of the word. And as we were saying, there's just a lot of stuff going on here, whether it's, class struggle or to do with race. I mean, there's a lot to do with race in this movie, which I found really interesting.
That's the guy who just a year ago was totally convincing playing Bob Dylan.
That's right. Yeah.
And how he emerges as a completely, utterly different character. Yeah. And a guy who is off-putting in a variety of ways, and yet you can't take your eyes off him, as you say.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Marty's Jewish identity is kind of pivotal to this, but he's unafraid to make jokes about the Holocaust less than a decade after the end of World War II, or he's showing no respect to the father of a dead soldier. But at the same time, he's also, and I thought this was a great line in the movie, he's calling himself and his prowess and his ability and his drive, he's calling himself the ultimate product of Hitler's defeat. He's very proud to be Jewish, but he's also unafraid of sort of ripping open the fresh wounds of the war. I found that stuff really, really interesting.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's also dodging responsibility at every turn, but also able to keep all these people on side, because you feel he does have genuine affection and respect for many people, even while he's messing them around.
Yeah.
It's a movie I think you could just rewatch so many times and get something new out of it every time. There's a lot to it, but also just because it's so entertaining to watch. As we said about Catch Me If You Can, that's a movie that goes for nearly 2.5 hours. And so does this one. I think this is over 2.5 hours. But again, sort of flies like a bullet because it's just, I don't know, there's great through line of Marty's desire to, achieve his goals. But all these strange little events and chapters keep happening in his life, mainly through his own sort of misadventurous nature.
I didn't know what to expect from this film. And there's a reason, because you can't encapsulate it. It doesn't lend itself to an elevator pitch, as they call it these days.
No, really, no. When I first heard about it, when I first heard that Safdie was following up Uncut Gems, which I thought was just brilliant, it's a story of a young New York ping pong hustler in the 1950s, I'm like, okay, that's unexpected. That's odd. Let's see where he goes with this. When I saw the first trailer for it, I'm like, I got an inclination you're doing this with it. And then when you see the actual movie, it's like, it's that times 1,000. Times 1,000, as you said before, Leonard, is really the best way to describe this. It's maximalist, but in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm. How would you pitch it to a casual moviegoer? If you liked this film, then you're going to like Marty Supreme. Which film would you compare it to in that regard? How do you pitch it?
Well, Uncut Gems. I would say Uncut Gems would prepare you for the wild extremes that the Safdies depict. The extremes of sharp left-hand turns, unexpected in their storytelling, and equally in their display of emotions.
Another one I'd compare it to would be The Wolf of Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a tale of someone who is compelling despite themselves, who commits terrible actions, but somehow you remain on their side. And it's not as much of a journey in through excess as Wolf of Wall Street is, but I think it's got a similar kind of hard-charging, almost punk rock kind of energy. So I think that's one way. I put Wolf of Wall Street as kind of like a comp as well.
See, my wife said the closest she's ever come to experiencing a panic attack was watching Uncut Gems. She said it's just a film that just took her on a roller coaster ride that she didn't expect.
Yeah.
And she goes, as much as I enjoyed it, she goes, I don't think I could watch it again,
Yeah, that seems to be the Safdie's mode, because if you look at Uncut Gems, you look at Good Time, they are very much, we're putting our foot to the floor and we're going to put you through the ringer, just as we put these characters through the ringer.
Well put.
Yeah, you're either on for the ride, you're either on board for the ride or you're not. But chances are you'll enjoy it. Let's talk about most valuable player. I think you've got to go with Chalamet for this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the kind of declaration performance that the Best Actor Oscar is supposed to celebrate. I thought DiCaprio was really good in one battle after another. I've yet to see the movie The Secret Agent. You've been touting it, Leonard. You think it's very good. And Wagner Mara, who I believe gives a really good lead performance in that. He's an actor I like a lot, and I'd like to see it. I'm glad that he's been recognized, but I really think this is sort of this is DiCaprio versus Chalamet for Best Actor this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see Chalamet get it, because I think this is the kind of, to quote a line from Bull Durham, one of my favorite movies, he's announcing his presence with authority with Marty Supreme. He really is. So, and one thing I like about this guy, this young guy, is that he's really been open in saying, I'm chasing greatness with everything I do.
Yeah.
I want to be a great actor. I want to be recognized as a great actor, so I'm working hard to do so. I think he's caught it here. This is really the kind of performance that makes you go, this kid's one for the ages. So, most valuable player of Marty Supreme, Timothée Chalamet. double feature. As we said, long movie.
Oh boy, I don't want a double feature. I want to recover from this one first.
Well,
Guy.
that's the other thing. Yeah, it's a drain on your time and your energy. When I say drain, I don't mean it's like, oh God. I mean it's like, woo. Yeah,
No,
I need a cigarette.
What have we went? We made a weekend of it. So Saturday night, Marty Supreme. Sunday night, what are we backing it up with?
Well, look, you could go with Catch Me If You Can if you want a palate cleanser. I mean, they're not dissimilar if you ask me. And look, despite some of the things that we've been saying about how, Marty is kind of a reprehensible character and this is a movie that kind of puts you through the ringer, it's essentially a feel-good movie. This is a sports movie about a guy who wants to win big. And it does follow, I won't say predictable lines, but maybe reliable lines in a lot of ways. So I'm not going to sort of blow the ending or anything like that, but it's kind of familiar in a lot of ways. And I think it's a feel-good movie in that regard. Having said that, I'm reluctant to pair it with the most feel-bad movie of a Raging Bull, but they're not dissimilar as well. So maybe you could do that if you wanted a weekend where you just want to feel, I don't know, all of the emotions.
I'm thinking of Marty Mauser and Jake LaMotta back to back. It's a frightening thought.
Couple of New York guys just following their dreams. What can I tell you?
Yeah. And there was a new film that you guys wanted to touch on before we wrapped up today. You were mentioning it off the air before we started recording.
Well, it's been a good year for international films. Here in the States, we used to call them foreign films. Somehow the Academy has decided that foreign is a pejorative word, which I don't think it is. There's domestic and foreign. That's not a judgment. That's just a state of facts. Nevertheless, their category has some exceptionally good films in it this year. Among them, Sentimental Value with Stellan Skarsgård and Renata Ransvi. Beautiful film. Really a beautiful film. The Secret Agent from Brazil, which I got to see a second time because its writer-director came to my class at USC with it last week, and I watched it again on the big screen and was taken in all over again. And then just last night, my wife and I watched from Spain, Surat. What a movie. It's a difficult film to describe, and I don't know that I would want to have it described to me. It just unfolds in a very unusual way. If I say that it's an existential road movie, that's kind of reductive, but not inaccurate.
That's the thing. If you wanted to give the traditional sort of elevator pitch, you could say, okay, this is about a father who is searching for his missing daughter, and he's sort of doing the rounds of these desert raves, these dance parties. Leave it at that. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
There are twists that the story takes that are very unexpected and quite shocking, but there are also just the overall tone of it has this weird kind of hypnotic feel to it.
Yes.
I'm not going to say this is everybody's cup of tea, but I think it is so well made. It feels like a very modern movie. I sound like a bit of a fuddy-duddy when I say that, but I don't know. It just, between something like Surat and something like Marty Supreme, it just feels like movies are moving in kind of a positive direction. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, it's not the art form that it used to be. It still is. It's still incredibly vital, and there's still voices out there doing interesting ththings with the form and the format and stories. Yeah, this is the work of a filmmaker named Oliver Lax. I hadn't really heard of him before, but yeah, he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. This is a really, really compelling movie and definitely worth checking out. I believe it's going to be in cinemas. I'm not sure if it's sort of going direct to VOD or streaming simultaneously, but yeah, definitely worth tracking down. Surat.
Now, Leonard, are you allowed to have predictions on the Oscars, or do you have to keep your lips sealed?
Well, I don't think I can reveal how I voted, but can make predictions about how everybody else is voting.
Yeah. Chalamet, DiCaprio, who do you think? Where do you predict it's going to land, that award?
I think it's Timothée Chalamet, but I think One Battle After Another is going to take the top prize, Best Picture. And Paul Thomas Anderson, Director. Jesse Buckley.
Yeah.
When it comes to international feature, now we've just been discussing that, I don't know. I still have one to see. I still have to see the fifth nominee in that category. But I have a couple of weeks because there's a month to go.
Thank you, Olympics.
Yeah, these sports people infringe on our nerdy delights.
Yeah.
Have you attended many award ceremonies, the Oscars, Leonard?
Never.
You've never attended one?
No, I've covered it. I've spoken on the official Oscar pre-show one year. I've been at the ceremony 4 different places. It's been held over the years. The Shrine Auditorium, a huge barn of a place downtown L.A., the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion at the Music Center. What used to be called the Kodak Theater is now called the Dolby Theater, and next year maybe the Taco Bell Theater. Who knows? These things change.
Was that a Demolition Man shout-out, Leonard? Are you aware of...
No, it is not.
The winner of the franchise wars. Oh, my goodness.
Someone of your stature, though, that must be by personal preference, right? Because surely you've been invited to attend.
No.
Really?
No, because the problem is that the Academy, whose membership hovered around 5,000 for a long, long time, has never been in an auditorium large enough to seat all its members. So there's always been a lottery process. And, of course, they have to give priority to nominees and nominees, people like that who deserve to go. And I never really wanted to be in the auditorium, frankly. I'm not being snobbish or coy about that. I've watched it on television my whole life, since I was like 11 years old. And that's how I want to see the Oscars. My daughter talked me into getting us credentials for the press room. So we sat in the press room one year, several years ago. And I found it very distracting. I don't want to be that close to the action and not feel I'm part of what's going on. So I prefer to just be an avid viewer.
If they invited you to present an award, would you do it?
Yeah, but that's when elephants fly.
I highly doubt that. You're Leonard Maltin.
Yeah.
Well, I can now say I am a member of the Academy. I'm a voting member of the Academy. I'm very proud of that. That's an achievement that many years in the making. So I'm comfortable with that.
Time for us to start lobbying the Academy. Get you one of those Gene Hersholt humanitarian awards or something like that. We'll get you along to that other Oscars that they have, that second one that's usually better. Have you seen that one? The one that I think they gave Tom Cruise one this year. And
that one, Adam Sandler got an award once or something?
It's like the honorary ones. And
yeah,
I think any film lover looks at it and goes, look at these great people they're giving awards to. Why aren't we watching this? Or why isn't this part of the main ceremony? And honestly, I think we should get Leonard Maltin as part of that.
Okay. We'll make it happen.
Make it happen, people, in 2026. This is my platform that I'm running on.
Alrighty. But I hope you guys enjoyed our review of Marty Supreme. Make sure you check it out if you have not done so. So you reckon don't watch the trailer for this film, just go in blind?
Well, I feel that about almost any movie, but certainly the ones we've been talking about casually today, as well as Marty Supreme, I think benefit from the surprise, the spontaneity of seeing it happen.
So know as little as possible going in.
Okay.
Marty Supreme, you can watch the trailer, but that is like dipping your pinky toe in the pool and then watching the movie is like diving in head first.
Because Guyh Davis suggested a film for my wife and I to go see on our anniversary. We knew nothing about. We had no interest in seeing because we thought it was one thing which turned out not to be. And he said, I highly recommend you go see a film called Song Sung Blue. And I could not believe how fantastic that movie was. And I'm thankful that I knew nothing about it going in.
I love that movie. And I love Kate Hudson in it.
Yep, she is incredible. Was she not nominated for a Best Actress award for that role?
She is.
Oh, she is. Thank goodness, because she was amazing. I think we should do a Song Sung Blue review on the show at some point because, I think that movie was just incredible.
Good.
That's what we'll do next.
Alrighty. Well, again, hope you enjoyed our review of Marty Supreme. Don't forget you can support us on Patreon for early and ad-free access, as well as access to exclusive podcast reviews as well. Don't forget to continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do find this show, and send in your questions to the movieguypodcast@gmail.com for an upcoming mailbag episode. But this has been our review of Marty Supreme. Thank you, Guyh.
Thank you, Dando.
Thank you, the Leonard Maltin.
Take care, Dando.
And we'll catch you all in the next episode of The Movie Guide with Maltin and Davis.